Good afternoon, everybody. This is GF Tsvi talking sports with GF. It's my first video, guys. Cut me some slack. I'm just starting out. Big follower of all you guys out there. Fire, Entertainer, Bad Dog. Shout outs to all the guys out there. Kid, the Hub. Most of all, I'd like to send out a special shout out to Timothy, Big Blue, who has inspired and pushed me to do a video, try to start up my own little video YouTube thing. I'm a big passionate Giants fan, as you guys all know. I'm a big football guy. It's pretty much a big part of my life. And I haven't missed a Giants game since 1986. I figured this would be a good week. Coming off the surgery, I'm home. But what I wanted to talk about is, a lot of you guys probably know I'm a big Gettleman guy. I believe in letting the guy finish his process. I believe he started a real good process. We have a young team, a future. It's hard to be patient year in and year out and win 5 or 6 games. I understand. Couple of things I wanted to touch on in this video, my first video, that I would think would lead the Giants to the playoffs this coming next season. First we touch on the free agency. I'm a big believer that the Giants should bring back Leonard Williams and Tomlinson. I understand people are worried about the cap. The cap is fluid. There are ways to manipulate the cap. There are roster bonuses. We have a lot of money the next season coming up. You can always push a little bit of that money, Leo's contract, into next year. To me, you have to bring back Leonard Williams and Tomlinson with Dexter. Those three to me, are the strongest interior defensive line in football. That's a powerhouse right there, and it's a young one too. Okay? What's Leonard? 26 years old. The other guys are younger. Tomlinson is a leader. There aren't too many nose tackles that'll do the dirty work that guy does. You could sign him for about $9-10 million. He said he would take a home discount to be here. He wants to be here. They do want to be together, and I think Gettleman's working on that. You go out in free agency. You don't go for the receivers. I understand everybody wants receivers, and we have to bring in some receivers for Daniel Jones in order to find out how good he could be, and I'm a believer in Daniel Jones. You have to give him better weapons than we have. Thank God we got rid of Tate. You don't need to spend $17-18 million on a Galladay. Yes, I would like to have Galladay. We need the deep down-the-field threat. But I don't even think he's going to be available. He's going to get tagged. You go out, you keep your defense together, you put the money in your own guys. Teams that win championships down the road always keep their team intact. Let them grow together. And we saw steps last year, especially on defense. You have Lorenzo Carter coming back, Eximitas. You go out right now and you put your money in a free agent, a defensive end. We've heard some names thrown out. Reddick from Arizona, Judon, Yannick, maybe Lawson. Go out and bring in one defensive end. A guy I'm big on is Van Noy, because he can play off the edge. He's connected to Judge, and he knows the Graham system. You bring in Van Noy, you put him on one end, you get Lorenzo Carter, Eximitas back, you mix them up on the other side, you keep the beast in the middle, all of them, okay? You have a good defense. A lot of guys aren't big on Sam Beal, but let's bring him back and see what he has this summer. Training camp, let's see. Because he was supposed to be a starter going into last year. You bring him back. You don't have to go looking for a free agent corner. You could draft one in the middle rounds. I say we go find one good defensive end and make this one of the best defensive lines in football. When we won Super Bowls, it was because we had real strong defensive lines, always. That's what the Giants are known for, and that's where Gettleman's going. He's bringing us back to the Giants' history. The defense is set. Then you go into the draft, and with the 11th pick, The guys that I think will be there are Waddle. Pitts will be there. And I understand he's a tight end, but he's really not. He's in everything. He's a wide receiver. He could go deep. He could beat you anywhere on the field. He's beaten the best corners in college all over the place. You bring a guy in like Pitts, or if you want to go with Waddle, okay, I'm not high on Smith. I'm not a believer in Smith. I don't think he fits the Giants' ways, okay? You bring in a Waddle, could do anything to help Jones. He's all over the field. He's got the end arounds, the screens, slants. He could beat you on a two-step post deep, or you go with the big guy Pitts, okay? And then I think or my other option is if you could trade down a few spots. I'm hearing maybe New England in 15, since they might want to come up and get a quarterback like Mac Jones. Maybe you could pull off a trade, get a late second rounder pick or from New England. You fall to 15, you can't go wrong with Bateman. I'm a big fan of Bateman. He's grown on me the last few weeks, and I believe Bateman is just as good as those other three receivers. Yes, he is. Okay? And you could draft Rashad Bateman at 15. You go into the second round at 42. Okay, over there, you're looking for another offensive lineman, a guard, would be a smart move there. Or, if you don't want the guard, and we didn't take Pitts, you have the tight end from Penn State that will be there. So, you could go either way. And that's all assuming we picked up a defensive end in free agency. It's a process. The Giants are going the right way. I will say this. I would pass on the receiver at 11 if one guy is there. Okay? And that's Micah Parsons. I'm a big guy on Micah Parsons. I've done my homework. Micah Parsons is a special player. Micah Parsons is an all-around leader. He's a vicious, physical player, a throwback linebacker that you need on this team. We need that guy who's going to bring that attitude, that leadership. We haven't had that at linebacker since Antonio Pierce. You need a linebacker that the other team lines up and has to worry about, an intimidator. Okay? And I believe this guy is a once-a-decade linebacker. You see what White is doing down in Tampa Bay? Parsons is better than him. And a lot of people don't know, he's a beast off the edge. He can purely rush off the edge if you need him to. You put him next to a Martinez, okay? And if you get another defensive end in the free agency, the Giants are a top 3 defense in the NFL. And defense wins. I'm an old school guy. It's not going to change. Defense wins championships. I know you want the receivers, the sexy offense. Let me tell you something. Fantasy football is all fun to watch week 1 through week 15. And when the fantasy leagues end and all the refs stop throwing flags to help blow up the scoreboards and the stats for all the young kids, and then you go into week 16, 17 into the playoffs, you'll notice a lot of the flags go away into the pockets and they let these teams play physical, grind it out, smash mouth football. And that's what gets you to championships, a Super Bowl. Okay? You don't need to have all this sexy 450-yard passing games. That's not what's going to win you a Super Bowl. Okay? And my final piece, and he's the biggest piece of all, and if we had him this year, we would have won the division because we would have won 8 or 9 games. That's a guarantee. If Saquon Barkley is back healthy, the New York Giants, with the moves we just spoke about, will go to the playoffs next year. May win the division with 9 or 10 games, may be a wild card, but the Giants will be a playoff team. Barkley healthy is a stud. He's a stud. I don't care. I know he was hurt last year, and he didn't have a full year the year before, but we saw his rookie year, and we saw the end of 2 seasons ago. The man's a beast, and more importantly, he will open up the receivers with the play action because you have to put 8 men in the box and worry about him. He also will make Jones a much, much improved quarterback. And I think we saw that when they were playing together in the short, 24 games together? Or the few games that they had, the one season, Jones was much better with him. He will be a much better quarterback with Barkley behind him. Because I don't care. Defenses have to worry about him. And if you got yourselves a Pitts to go with an Ingram, or a Waddle, Shepard, and Slayton, that's good enough with Barkley. He's not just a running back. He's a receiver. Into the flats, over the middle. The Giants will have a good enough offense with a top 5 defense. And now we're cooking with a lot of money next year. My biggest thing, bring back both defensive tackles. Keep your defense together and go out and get a defensive end. Find a way to make it work. Manipulate the cap. Gettleman knows what he's doing. He's been in the game for 30 plus years. And Judge is helping him. My first video, guys. Please subscribe. Maybe ring the bell. Help me out. Love listening to all your guys' videos every day and night. Hoping just to join you. It's a pleasure and a passion to talk football with my Giants Nation. Have a good evening. GF.